All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. And I've watched this, like, a few parts of this video. The beginning part is, in particular, I've watched it a couple of times, and I listened to it all the way through pretty much once. But I went back to it again today because there was something interesting that I saw when watching this video by this Rich Tidwell guy. And it's that when he says the Europeans are Edomites, right? But when I watched it the first time, I was like, this guy don't really believe that. Because he does like a Juper's Delight laugh, man. He does a Juper's Delight laugh after he says it, because he knows deep down how ridiculous it is for him to try and make a group of people that don't even believe in God first and foremost claim to be the Israelites, man. And all they've did, right, is sealed their fate, which it was already sealed anyway, but they've went and did exactly the same thing now as what another tribe of their people did, man. Amalek. They're doing the same thing now. Now they're also trying to steal our inheritance. They wasn't just happy enough to allow their fellow Edomite brother to try and steal our inheritance. They've also stolen it as well. And this is a video by one of the elders of Great Millstone. I'm just going to press play and just go to the particular part that I'm looking for, man.
String with each other, Edom just outside, and the rest of the Shemites even further. Europeans are the Israelites of the Bible. Europeans.
You see that little chuckle there? At 2 minutes 39 when he says Europeans are the Edomites of the Bible, and then he chuckles to himself. That's that Juper's Delight, man, that I heard another elder talk about before. He don't really believe that, man. He don't really believe that. He's really thinking, man, if I can get them to believe this, I can get these fools to believe anything. He don't really believe that. And one thing that's going to be interesting to see, which we already know is not going to happen anyway, if that Edomite Vocab Malone is going to come out of the woodwork now and start bunning out this guy, because he's saying that they're the Edomites, but Vocab Malone supposedly already believes that the people in the land of Israel are the Israelites and doesn't believe that Israel exists anymore as a people. So I wonder if he's going to come out of the woodwork and go against this guy, but we already know he's not going to. We already know that there's no chance in hell that he's going to. If anything, a guy like that would become an ally to this geezer and would start being like, yeah, you are cursed. Even though he used to try and tell us that we're not cursed. And I went to the comment section of some of that video, and I was just like, man, these Edomites really are disgusting. People was asking him, Jake was in the comment board asking him, how are you cursed, right? And they were saying, oh, well, we have to go to J-Wish banks. We have to go to the small hat banks, right? So that's how we're cursed. And then we're saying to the Jakes that was saying it, and you ain't blessed. So that's how we know that you ain't Israelites, because you ain't blessed, right? You're living mostly by white tax dollars, which, like, is absolutely ridiculous, because these Edomites, they always want to try and play a rigged game. These Edomites want to try and claim that they're Israelites now through saying that they're cursed, right? But when it comes to trying to prove that for them to try and decide whether they think we're Israelites, they're saying, oh, you ain't an Israelite because you're not blessed. But when they're trying to decipher whether they think they are, they're trying to claim it's because they're saying that they're cursed. But why aren't they trying to use whether we're cursed to decide whether we are? And then they're saying that we're not cursed, that we're not blessed, I mean. And I'd agree, we're not blessed. We're cursed right now. And the fact that this one particular Edomite said on there that we're us so-called white people are cursed because we have to go to a J-Wish bank, a small hat bank, and you so-called black people aren't blessed. You have to go, you live mainly most often off white tax dollars. So that would mean that we're even below you then. So if you're cursed, what the hell does that make us? If we have to go to you, but you have to go to somebody else according to your own speech, doesn't that mean that we're even worse off than you? So therefore we're cursed. But these Edomites are so dumb and haven't thought through this abomination of a lie that they're trying to push out there, man. That now they're the Israelites some way. And one of the reasons what I thought was interesting in this, how they're saying that they're cursed. I think it's very interesting that they're saying that they're cursed, which they are, but they're cursed because Yahweh is releasing us from the curse. They're cursed according to Deuteronomy 30 and 7. They're not cursed according to Deuteronomy 28 although the curses are from Deuteronomy 28, they're not cursed because they're the Israelites and they were supposed to keep the laws, and now because they're not keeping them, they're not blessed because they haven't been keeping the laws the whole time that they've been in control and in charge of America. They haven't been keeping the laws the whole time that we haven't been keeping the laws. They haven't been keeping laws the whole time that we haven't been. So why would all of a sudden now they start to become cursed? All the reason why they're starting to become cursed now is because now we're starting to try and turn back to righteousness, and we're calling upon Yahweh with all our heart and with all our soul, that we may us live. So Yahweh is having mercy on us and turning our captivity. So now these Edomites are starting to catch hell, and the only way how they are trying to decipher in their mind that this is happening is because they're trying to think that they're cursed, which they're not. They're just lying, right? But let me press play again, and you'll see this Rich Tidwell guy chuckle at the thought of being of so-called white people being the Edomite. I mean, being the chosen. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous, this lie that they're coming up with, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a joke.
Closely clustering with each other, Edom just outside, and the rest of the Shemites even further. Europeans are the Israelites of the Bible. Europeans are the 12.
You see that little chuckle? He don't believe that, really. He don't believe that, man. And you know what's mad? This Edomite right here on the screen, this guy literally tried to copy the whole Israelites doctrine, all the parts he likes, apply it to his own people, and think to hell with us, like as if people ain't got all this evidence of seeing so-called black people, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans saying exactly the same thing. Like, all you people thinking you're going to be able to literally just hijack the doctrine and apply it to yourself. Mate, you never made this. This doctrine was not made by men. And it has to be backed by prophecy. There's no way that none of you Edomites are going to get out there and try and make out like you're cursed according to Deuteronomy 28. It's not going to happen. Now, I'm going to go into some scriptures, man. Give me a second, Salakia. All right, so let's go into some scriptures, man, because they're trying to claim that they're the Israelites, right? That's their claim. So, and they're saying that the small hats are the Edomites, and that's this particular belief doctrine that they're trying to push out there now. So, if they're the Israelites and they're the small hats are the Edomites, right? If Europeans are the Israelites and the small hats are the Edomites, right? Well, then the Edomites' main target of oppression should always have been them. And that should have been the people that they had perpetual hatred with and they're always battling against, right? But we already know that the Atlantic slave trade was funded by the small hats. But if they had a perpetual hatred for Jacob because they're Jacob, would they not have put Jacob in slavery? Would they have not put the Europeans in slavery instead of us? Since they would have perpetual hatred because they would assume that they stole the birthright for them, right? They would assume that the Europeans stole the birthright from them, wouldn't they? So the small hat would have put the European into captivity instead of us. But that's not what happened, though, is it? That's not what happened. That's not what happens. Why would it's literally a complete joke of a doctrine, man. Why would the small hats in America, in the land of Israel, have to go to America, who are so-called white people, Europeans and all of that? Why would they have to go to them for military might? America's literally what you would call so-called Europeans. I don't care about, they can't try and play it off as Europe and only. That's a joke. Because you know this Rich Tidwell guy with this doctrine, he's trying to claim he's an Israelite too. You know he's trying to claim that. And if not, then what nationality is he trying to say himself is? If you're trying to claim that means that the Edomites having to go to Israel for military might. That doesn't make any sense, man. Where in the scriptures does it say that the Israelites was going to be the defense to the Edomites in the last days? They're going to take them down according to prophecy. These people are a joke. Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Now, we already know, we apply this Bible verse to us, you small hats and you so-called white people, all the rest of you, the Europeans, the Americans, all of you, you always continually slaughtered us every time you had the chance, all the time. And you've never decided to ever have any mercy. You've never had any mercy, man. You've always just kept continually hating us, hating our guts, man. And because of that, Yahweh's going to set you up to feel the same kind of thing. Now, how can these Europeans try and claim that the small hats are doing that to them? It's a complete joke. And all they kept saying, when they kept getting asked by Jake, how are you going through Deuteronomy 28? Or we have to go to Jewish banks. Mate, you don't have, so-called white people do not have to go to their enemy for the want of all things, like it says in Deuteronomy 28. Like, they haven't thought this whole thing through. All they're doing by making these lies of a doctrine is proving the validity of our doctrine. Because for the longest time, you had all these people that would say about the Hebrew Israelite, you ain't cursed, you ain't cursed. Everyone goes through everything at all times. Everyone has to go to a Jewish bank for a loan, a small hat bank if they want a loan. They're all owned by them. So anyone can claim that. If a so-called black man wants a loan, what bank does he have to go to? The United African Fund. Do you know what I mean? No, he has to go to the same people you have got to go to. What you on about, man? And guess what? He's not even going to get given a loan because we're really cursed, man. You so-called white people will get given a loan, thinking that you're cursed because you got to go to a loan from the bank. You stupid idiots, man. They're so dumb, bruv. Like, I'm really starting to, as time's going on more and more, realize how dumb and pathetic these Edomites are. They're a joke, bruv. And unless they've got a highly, like, 95.5% favoritism and advantage, they're nothing, mate. They're a complete joke of a people, man. They're disgusting, you know. Like, they're so low down, bruv. And then got the nerve to talk it big. Like, they're actually trying to steal a whole doctrine from so-called black people that we've made and try and apply it to themselves. Them verses, they never used to admit. That Rich Tidwell guy, if you go back in the past and look at how he used to teach, he wasn't saying none of that stuff. He wouldn't have been saying none of that. In fact, I think I went on his channel and I went back to his oldest video and it was talking about some God loves all on there. Like, these people are absolute clowns, man. And every single move that they make just proves the validity of what we're saying, man. And I understand why they're doing it, because they're scared. They don't want to go into captivity, but it doesn't matter, you're going. Deuteronomy chapter 28 in verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things. You Europeans and all that, you so-called white people, don't even have to go to the small hat for any of these things if you don't really want to. Not really. Not really. You don't have to go to them for hunger. What are you on about? You don't have to go to them in thirst. Americans are fatter than small hats. America's got more than enough access to food and to drink of their own self, man. They ain't struggling to have their own land. America's got its own land to do farming and all that kind of stuff. They're just corrupt and do the farming in a wicked way. That's the only reason why they'd have less, because they do it corruptly. But there's more than enough land in America to where they don't have to go to no small hat for hunger and thirst and nakedness. But if us so-called black people, Latinos and Native Americans, we do, because our lands have all been stolen from other people. So now we don't have our control of our lands that we're supposed to have control over, so that we can do our own farming and agriculture and growing of our own things and growing of our own clothes and making of our own wine, our own orange juice, our own lemons, our own pomegranates, you know, our own grapes. We don't have access to our own lakes, our own rivers. We don't have access to that. So the fact that of you people trying to make this be about you, what are you on about? Like, what are you talking about, man? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until thou be destroyed. When have you Europeans went through that? And then they'll try and go back to some point in the past about yokes of iron and all that, and then be like, okay, prove that was you. Because just because it's about some people in Europe, how do you know that was you in Europe at that time? These people hear Europe and they just lose their mind, man. As if people haven't, in a time of history, been all in and out of Europe throughout the times of, man. Different people conquering Europe over several different generations and times, man. But they just hear Europe and assume it's them because they're there now. But it's so-called white people in charge of North America right now, right? But was it always? No, it weren't. No, it weren't, man. Go back 600 years, they weren't there. So what are you on about? Like, the fact of them trying to claim that they're the Israelites right now is absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. And holds no kind of spiritual standing. And like, it's mad. Like, the thing that they're doing, where they're thinking that they're the Israelites and that this is all happening to them because they're Israelites, it's because of the things written in Obadiah. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. But Esau will try and take that and be like, see, this is happening because we're Israelites and we're going through. I'm not saying that no Edomite said this, but I'm on about the cognitive dissonance that they're going through, right? Will make them rather think that it's the curse of Deuteronomy 28 rather than the curse of Obadiah, than the things written in Obadiah, excuse me. But then some of these same Edomites that are going to believe that, yeah, Europeans are the Israelites, would be the same people that used to say in the past to Hebrew Israelites that no one ain't cursed and that you're making excuses. Like, it's mad. When we're going through pain, when we're going through suffering, we're making excuses, we're lazy, we don't want to work hard enough. But when they go through things, they always feel justified to complain. But then when it's us, they never feel like we're justified to complain. Then when it's us, they never feel like we're justified to get angry. You've got this whole thing where you got this bugged out Edomite that's been arrested for shooting a Jake, and he was just going around harassing people, calling them the N-word and that. And I'm like, okay. So he went around trying to offend people, and somebody gave him what he was looking for, and then he shot him. Of course that's attempted. Like, what are we talking about here? Of course that is. Because if I go around, it's not about the word that he was, it's just the word. You should be able to say a word. So, all right, you should be able to, and you can say whatever word you want to say to people, right? But you're not in control of what they do when you say whatever word or whatever collection of words or whatever consecutive order of words, sentences that you want to put together when you say to people. Because if I go up to women, right, and keep calling women that I don't know hoes, right, when they very well might be hoes, but if I just keep going up to random women that I don't know and calling them hoes, they might get offended and put their hands on me, right? Or some man that knows them might get offended and put their hands and try and fight me. Am I now justified, if I had one, to just pull a weapon out and start blazing? No, I'm not. Because I'm the one going around trying to cause a problem. But these people are got such hatred for us that they really want to try and legalize being able to unalive us, man. They want to be able to legalize antagonizing us and legalize unaliving us if we react to the antagonization, and try and make us seem like we're crazy if we get antagonized. Oh, you're all too emotional. You're all too emotional. And yet people will see all of this happening to us and try and make it like we ain't the Israelites and that we ain't cursed. Like there ain't one rule for us and another rule for everyone else. Like the nerve of you Edomites to try and come out and make out like you're the Israelites with all the stuff that you've put us through. Why would we have went through all the, like, if you're trying to make out like you're oppressed right now, yet you've been oppressing us for all of these years, no matter what level of oppression you try and say that you're oppressed by, we're oppressed more. Because you can claim, okay, we've been oppressed by the small hats for hundreds of years, okay, and we've been oppressed by you and them for the same amount of time. So what's up, man? What's up with it? You're complaining about being oppressed by one group of people. We're complaining about being oppressed by that group that you're complaining about being oppressed by, and being oppressed by you, and being oppressed by all the other nations on the earth too, that have also had a little dabble and a dibble at trying to kick us in our ass while we're down. So I don't know how the hell anywhere around the way that you Edomites are trying to make out like you're the chosen, that you're oppressed. You're a bunch of crybabies, man. Deuteronomy 28 in verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations with you, how I shall lead thee. Now, eventually you Edomites are going to go through this, and you are getting a little taste of this, but you're not going through this because you're the Israelites that were supposed to keep the laws. That's what you don't understand. You're going to face these curses a different way. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 6, and Yahweh thy power was circumcised thine heart. This is talking about circumcising the heart of his true nation of people, the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, the real Israelites, man, that really went through the curses, that don't have to fake it, man. Or you so-called white people want to say that you're the Israelites. Okay, show where your women are having, according to Isaiah 3:16, where your women are walking with one-ton eyes, you know, and that now you've got bald heads. The women have got your bald heads now that you have smote them with a scab. Show it. Show where the European woman's going through Isaiah 3:16 to verse 24. Show that. Yeah, right, man. Like, y'all didn't even thought this through when you try to just plonk yourself into claiming to be an Israelite. Mate, it don't work like that. I came across a beautiful word a couple of days ago, immutable, right? Genealogy, ethnicity, nationality is not immutable. You can't change it, right? And it doesn't change or alter over time neither. You are what you are, mate. And an Edomite can say that he's an Israelite all day till he's red in the face, mate. Right? He's not, though. An Israelite can say that they're an Edomite all day till they're brown in the face. You're not, though. It don't matter whether you want to say you are. You can say what you want to say. But if you're not, you're not. And there's nothing you can do to change it. You can't change yourself. You want about? The Israelites are forced to be under this new covenant whether they like it or not. They're going to be forced. The same must know it after death by pain. You can't try and just make yourself an Israelite and try and just slide yourself into this doctrine. They're going all the way with this replacement theology, aren't they? They're going all the way with it. The church, they went from the church is Israel to no, actually, we're Israel. There was like, never mind the church, but no, we're Israel for real. Like, never mind not no church. We ain't no Gentiles being spiritual Israel. We're Israel. Isn't it mad? All the different ways that these Edomites are trying to escape. Be going through Obadiah. Like, it's mad. When we got them in the kingdom and all the different ways that they're going to just bait each other out and expose and snitch on each other like some Randall from Recess, is going to be quite hilarious, man. We're going to see just how little honor and how little love they have for each other, man. If you thought Deuteronomy 28 and 54 was bad when we was doing it, just wait till you see Deuteronomy 28 and verse 54 when they're doing it, man. Because their version of Deuteronomy 28 and 54 anyway is going to lead to World War III. The hatred that E has against E is going to lead to World War III, man. That Ezekiel 38, when they think that evil thought, that's Deuteronomy 28 verse 54. But they're going to face Deuteronomy 28 verse 54, not because they were supposed to keep the laws and they sinned, because we're now going to be keeping the laws and we're doing the best of our ability to do the right thing, and we've turned and repented and turned to Yahweh. And as the more we turn to Yahweh and repent, the more they're going to catch a bad one, as they are right now. And that's why they're coming out with these outlandish lies about claiming that they're the Israelites, man. No, you're not. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. The desperation that they have. Verse 6, and Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And the main people that did that are the small hats, and you Europeans, which are all Edomites, by the way. Y'all are all trying to throw each other under the bus. Reservoir dogs, right? Oh, no, I'm not Edomite. They're Edomites. No, I'm not Edomite. They're Edomites. You both are. Thanks for snitching. You know what I mean? Thanks for the snitching, man. You both Edomites. Y'all are snitching on each other. Throwing each other under the bus. Because you ain't got no honor and you ain't got no brotherhood. You ain't got no brotherly love. Y'all are all trying to throw and scrounge for the last little dregs of the kingdom. Of this kingdom that you've got. But it's not going to work, man. You're all over the place. All over the place, man. They're trying to claim like they're the Israelites now. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous when you really think about it. Joel chapter 3 and verse 1, behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Okay, so show where you Europeans are in captivity to be Judah and Jerusalem, man. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat. Mate, the main people going down into that valley of Yehoshaphat are going to be the Europeans and the small hats, man. The hell they're talking about? The main people are going to be setting it off. All them. But surely Yahweh will be gathering everyone else? Surely that would mean that we're a nation that we ain't Israelites, right? So we'd be getting gathered into there. But we ain't, though. It's not going to be the majority of us up in there. The main nation that's going to be in World War III are you Edomites, man. The hell are you people talking about? You oppressed and all this. Well, the Europeans are oppressed. You've got a whole UN, man. Do you know what I mean? You got EU. How the hell are you oppressed, man? How the hell are you oppressed? You've got all these different world groups joined together. You've got the power to sanction people. And you're talking about you're oppressed. You've got the power to sanction people, man. They've got the power to, like, do you understand? They've got the power to sanction people, and they're talking about they're oppressed. They've got the power to tell other countries, don't buy from these people, don't buy from that people, and they're talking about they're oppressed. What the hell are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Like, you did not think this lie through. You did not think it through, man. The demons on you made you just come up with some mad BS. And now you've stuck your foot in your mouth. And now you're going to have a lot of questions to answer. And you haven't thought it through. You haven't thought, let me consider how am I going to say, what am I going to say if someone says this then? And what am I going to say if someone that says that? And you're still carnal. You stupid idiot Richard Tidwell. Because you're talking about haplogroups and all this genetic stuff. Mate, show what Israelites DNA did you get? To be talking about some DNA groups, man. What Israelites DNA did you get? So all these groups the R DNA, mate, none of that means anything. None of it means anything, man. Because what Israelite are you comparing it to? What ancient Israelite from the Bible are you comparing it to be like, yeah, you are? You ain't got one. You ain't got access to that. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Are the Europeans scattered among the nations? No, they ain't, man. No, they ain't. And that's the reason why they can say a thing like Europeans and they're just all there. But are the African Americans, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans scattered all through the different lands? Yeah, they are. We went through an extreme, brutal captivity, man. Shit. The small hats have got more of an emotional time to try and cry about with the hollow thing than you Europeans have got to cry about, man. In fact, wasn't it Europeans that supposedly did that to them? Wasn't it a particular group of Europeans? So what are you to make? What you did not think this live through, you rich Tidwell idiot, man. You didn't think it through, mate. You open your mouth, running your gums, saying things out your mouth, and you didn't think it through, man. What are you talking about? Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 15, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, and putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that I may look on their nakedness. That should mean that if you're catching hell and you're going through a bad one, that this should be something that's happening to you. But this is what you Europeans, you so-called white people, do to us. Always putting a philosophy in front of us so they can look and laugh at us, man. Y'all ain't going through nothing. No one's doing nothing to you, man. You're not oppressed. You're making things up, right? You're making things up, man. And now you've, like, how low, mate? You're low, man. You Edomites are so low that you got to steal a doctrine from a group of people that you hate their guts. We're just black bums, low IQ and all this, but you're trying to steal our doctrine. And the thing is, it's not like it's a doctrine that we made. It's from Yahweh. And it fits perfectly with us because it's the truth. But you're trying to make the doctrine fit to us, to you, by telling lies. Verse 12, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and slappeth a city by iniquity. You Europeans did that. We never did that. And here's another thing I was thinking when I heard them say this stupid lie, this foolishness, right? Because according to their belief system then, there's 3 different groups of people now that are all claiming. There's 3 different groups of people now that are all claiming to be the Israelites, because you'd have them claiming to be the Israelites, right? Saying that they're the lost tribes and all that, right? Then you'd have the small hats saying that they are, and they're saying that those are the Edomites, right? But then you've got us saying that we are as well, and they'd say that we're just so-called black people, and I'm assuming that they're gonna say that we're some kind of Ham or something like that, right? But where can they show in the Bible that Ham was gonna do that, or whatever nation they claim that we are, if we're not Israel, right? Where can they show it in the Bible then that we would be doing that? Where can they show? Where is it in the Bible that they can show that there'd be another group of people outside of the Edomites that would try and steal the nationality? Where can they show that, man? Like, they're absolutely ridiculous. Like, they did not think this life through. They didn't think it through. They were just so angry that we're claiming that we're the Israelites, right? That they just ran and was like, you know what? Nah. I'm really going through Psalms 83. I'm going through Deuteronomy 28. And when you look at their life, you're like, no, you're not, mate. Because everywhere that you're claiming that you're struggling, we're doing worse. And we've been doing worse, mate. like you can't just plonk yourself into prophecy. It doesn't work, man. The small hats tried to claim that they went back to the land of Israel for the final time. And there was wars the same year. You know what I mean? There was wars the same year. You can't just try and plump yourself into prophecy and make it work. It's not going to work like that. It ain't going to work like that, man. When Yahushua comes back, he's going to know who the Israelites are and who the Israelites are not. And you can't just make yourself be an Israelite because you say you are. That's not how it works. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Now, let's just get down to this. The Europeans are the Israelites, supposedly, and they're in captivity on earth, right? Make their own nukes, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? The Europeans own nukes. Now, the Europeans own nukes. African Americans, we don't own none of that. Caribbeans, we don't own none of that. We don't own no nukes. The so-called black race, Latino, Native American race, they don't own nothing like that to be able to fight against their oppressor. What are you on about? Why would, if they're oppressed and they're the Israelites, why would they ever have been given the ability to have that? Wouldn't they have kept them down so that they can't defend themselves? Like, what are you talking about, man? You did not think it through. There's so many flaws in the stupid lie that you tried to come up with. It's so dumb. And that's why he laughed when he said it, man. Because it was that duper's delight. Now, I've laughed throughout this video, but I'm laughing at the thought of how pathetic it is that they have tried to steal the doctrine that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai gave to us, man. Through crafting it on earth, through men. Like, it's absolutely pathetic. It's so stupid how they tried to come up with this lie. It's so dumb. They're the ones that literally go throughout the earth, gathering unto themselves all nations, heaping unto themselves all people, and then at the same time crying about immigration, when they're the ones that brought them over. Verse 6, shall not these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him? And this is what we're doing to them now. Warn to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? And that's us bunning them out, because they're catching all this hell now because of all the wickedness that they did in the past. And they built up all this debt, right? And now it's coming back to bite them. And they never expected that to happen, man. But there's so much more things I could say. I can't even think. It's so dumb, them trying to say this. Verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, ornament of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land of the city and all that dwell therein. Like, mate, that's what you did. That's what you Europeans did, man. But y'all are trying to just throw it off and pass it off onto the small hats only, mate. You was there too. All the time they was doing what they was doing, you was there. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You was there as well. There's literally more Europeans available with military might than the small hats. The land of the small hats could not take on the whole European nations in a battle of war. Unless America stepped in and helped them, they could not. Them few small hats, few whatever millions that they claim to be of small hats could not take on the whole of the so-called white Europeans in war. They couldn't take them on. So how are they oppressed by them, man? If they can carnally take them down, and without the need for no God to step in, they could carnally take them down. But we could not carnally take down any of our oppressors, man. We could not carnally take down any of our oppressors right now because Yahweh set it up that we're not able to do that. Like the lies that they tried to come up with, they did not think it through, man. And like, none of you Jakes out there should take anything that they're saying seriously because it's so dumb and has got so many holes and flaws in, right? Whereas when we say that we're the Israelites, it makes perfect sense, man. We are oppressed, and we don't have to fake like we're oppressed and say because we have to go to a bank for a loan that we're oppressed. Everyone has to go to a bank for a loan in this world. We all have to go to a bank for a loan. And just saying, oh, I have to go to a small, mate, everyone's got to go to a bank for a loan. We all have to go to the same bank that you're complaining about having to go to. So what are you on about, man? You people are dumb. And then you Edomites try to say, oh, we have to go to small hat banks. That's how we know that we're cursed. But we know you ain't the Israelites because you ain't blessed. You're trying to play a different game. You're trying to claim you're being an Israelite through claiming, which is not true, but claiming that you're cursed and you have to go to them for money, but then saying that we ain't because we ain't blessed. But why wouldn't you use us being cursed? And then they went on to say that your race is mainly funded by white tax dollars. So if that's true, if we were to run with that, then that means that we're even worse off than you stupid idiots. But you know what? Like, you Edomites are laughable, man. You're pathetic, right? You're pathetic, man. And this all just goes down to Isaiah 47, man. The astrologers, the stargazers, someone out there told this guy to do that. Whether it be an evil spirit that bugged him out, someone out there put this guy up to this. And it just looks dumb. Isaiah chapter 47 and let's start with verse 12. Stand now with thine enchantments, with the multitude of thy sorceries. Part of their sorceries was them being able to come up with philosophies that people believed. But no one ain't going to believe this, really. Nobody that's worthwhile is going to believe this. Wherein thou hast laboured from thy youth, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. They're wearied. That's why they're coming up with stupid stuff like this now. In 2026, they're all of a sudden going to try and claim that they're the Israelites, right? As if in the past, in antebellum America, they never used to try and claim it then. Why would you have stopped, man? Why would you have stopped claiming it? Why wouldn't you have carried on with that and saying that you're the Israelites then? And that America's new Canaan, right? And it's the promised land. Why would you have stopped saying that? Why wouldn't you carry on? Surely you would carry on with that, right? That they're just full of it, mate. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. And let's see if this doctrine is going to catch any weight, mate. Let's see if it's going to go on and release the 12 tribes. You know what I mean? Let's see if this doctrine is going to seal the 144,000, 12 from each 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Let's see. I doubt it though. I wouldn't hold my breath. Like, it's absolutely, man. All praise. These Edomites are through, man. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakah Quadash. Double honors and shalom to the nation Israel. Shalom.